Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of PATAS Weekly. We are live, and today is June 20th, 2020. It's Saturday, and it's another great day not to get coronavirus. In addition to this program, PATAS Inc. also sponsors a weekly updated blog at patasinc.org. There you can also donate. I'm just laughing at. I'm laughing at Joe right now. There, you can also donate to our organization at patreon.com/PodcastInc. If you are willing and able to provide a donation, please do so at that link. Let's see. This is a call-in show. You can call in by visiting the link on the screen. I'm still getting used to these announcement things. Where the hell is it? Over there. It's over there now. Okay, because I moved and I have to get used to pointing in the other direction. All right. So, um, anyway, we have a story today. It's sort of an interesting little story, and I'm just going to go over it as vaguely as possible, and we can give our thoughts, and then we will be taking live calls. But to start with, a former volunteer of PATAS, who we are going to opt to refer to anonymously. He's atheist, anti-theist advocate. He posted a picture on social media last Monday of himself eating blood pudding in front of a religious organization that specifically has provisions against that, which caused serious implications and a lot of harassment. And then he got phone calls, he got death threats, and he had to change his name. We're keeping him anonymous. He's also called the Philippine National Police and the Cybercrime Division organization I had the pleasure of working with once. And that's kind of the whole story. John, I wanted to get your thoughts first.
Mhm.
Everybody, this is John Joe. He's here with us today.
Oh, first off, hi guys. Good afternoon, Philippines. All right, it's another beautiful Saturday, and yeah, that issue has actually reached my feed, and it's kind of strange because during the beginning of quarantine, there were jokes towards this particular religious group, the Iglesia ni Cristo, that there was a meme going around that asked the question, what if the blood transfusion was the answer to COVID? And that was like a kind of funny twist on their religious beliefs where you're not supposed to ingest blood. So they don't ingest this food called dinuguan, which like I cook and stuff, and I like experimenting, but it's not my sort of deal. I enjoy the blood pudding or dinuguan, and yeah. So now there's a Patas member who's being harassed for eating dinuguan in his vehicle in his private while coincidentally crossing INC facility or church, and I find it odd because I understand what he was doing. There is humor in the irony that he was actually having dinuguan and he happened to cross an INC church. See, there's one side to the story. You don't know if he intentionally went there and brought dinuguan, because that's kind of like what Sildra did by walking in with the dance line. He intentionally went to the church and did what he did. So I don't know all the details of the story. Of course, I found it funny. A lot of people were not surprisingly pissed off, and I don't know. I'm you because I don't know all the details.
I don't know all the details either, but what I do know is that if this was intentional, I think it was really stupid. If it wasn't
Mhm.
intentional, then I think it's just really funny, but also not funny in terms of what's happened as a result. So, like the circumstance at the very
Mhm.
opening, just him being in front of an organization that's against that, like, and snapping a photo, that's funny. The response to it has not been
Mhm.
funny. In fact, it's been far less than
Yeah.
funny. Sending people death threats, telling them you're going to kill them, and all this other thing. Come to your house, shoot you and your family or whatever. That's disgusting behavior, and you should be ashamed. Um,
Mhm.
and I suspect most of these people would never actually do it. I think they're just angry.
Yeah.
Um,
Some of it is empty threats based on social media behavior that's been observed.
Yeah.
A lot of people could be trolling, but at the same time, this particular church has come out in news media a lot of times. In fact, police have gotten involved. They keep a very, very tight lid on their church, and especially the leaders of this church. I believe there was also an investigation on their finances in the past, but that has disappeared from news headlines already. So I guess it's safe to say that they are a powerful church, or a powerful one of the powerful churches that we have here in the Philippines. And yeah, death threats are no joke, but at the same time, social media humor will always be there. Jokes will always be taken into offense. That's why you can't give offense. You can only take offense.
Yes.
Like I know, I think I mentioned it to you in a previous episode. My best friend since we were 13 years old, he's INC, and he doesn't mind that I'm an atheist. He doesn't mind that I post whatever stuff like their churches sideways, like spaceships, and then pew 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 pew. He doesn't mind those jokes and stuff like that. So there are the tolerant kinds. There are the nice ones, the ones that can see the humor through intent. And there are some people who are just really offended or go online
Yeah.
to looking to be offended, just
Yeah.
waiting for that opportunity to call someone out. And unfortunately for this Patas
Yeah. They're
member,
just waiting to be
he
called out.
became a target.
They're just looking.
Mhm.
They're looking for an opportunity to cry foul and get angry about something. That's really what we're seeing.
Yeah, and they
Um,
can eat press. They're the ones being made fun of.
yeah.
That guy's profile, you'll see that he ridicules all other religions, not just that religion as a whole. That's just what I observed, though. But it's a sticky situation. Um, it requires us to do that.
Sorry, you're cutting in and out. Looks like I might have lost you. All right, I think we may have
You pull
lost. Yeah, we may have lost him. So I'm gonna. All right, so yeah, this is easily one of the um, dumbest things one could do intentionally, for sure. I would never condone anyone doing this on purpose, if that's what happened. But I know there are people who do that kind of thing. I think the only sense in which I would be okay with it is if it were um, done in like a more safeguarded protest type setting where there's like masses of people coming together and saying we're going to do this as a demonstration in front of these people, because then it's not just you off on your own doing a thing like this. It's kind of like the Draw Muhammad Day, um, which was something that caught on really quick because of the atheist bloggers or whatever who were killed. And so I don't know, I just, when I think of that kind of thing, it makes me just think very carefully about the things that you're doing, because people are dangerous, and religious people especially can be very dangerous, um, and crazy sometimes. And this is an example of that. So, but again, we don't know how many of those are serious threats, how many of them are just trolling. Um, but the kind of paranoia that can cause someone must be very difficult to deal with. So, John, do we have John back? I feel all alone
Am
here.
I back?
I think you are.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay. Yeah, so that's why it's in this day and age of call out, it's very dangerous because you don't know how people are going to react.
Right.
Like if it's in a group like Patas, it's all in good humor it's group. But when you start posting it publicly, then you're just calling everyone to come on your page and, either debate you or threaten you. And that's the scary part because anyone can do that online. No one can stop you from the threats. Even if you report it to Facebook, you have one guy behind the computer who has no idea of what the issue is, and he'll just say, "Oh, this doesn't," you know. it's hard. It's hard when your fate is judged by somebody just behind the computer. It
Yeah,
has to be a forum.
yeah. That's the thing is, these people have anonymity in their on their side. And that's why they're able to be like
Hmm.
this, and so it makes it very difficult to counter that. And even the cybercrime divisions, they're going to have a hard time if they do anything about it at all.
Hmm.
Um, Controlling it, unless because there's really nothing actionable until um, some physical action has taken place usually. Um,
Yeah.
so the mere threats might be enough to get you some protection, but I doubt it. Um,
Mhm. I don't know, Ben. How would you protect yourself?
how would I
Have you
protect?
gotten death threats? Because I have.
I have gotten
I've
death
gotten death
threats.
threats.
Unfortunately, no one ever knows where I live, so makes it really easy to stay
Oh,
anonymous.
okay. Well, I took a different approach. I actually volunteered to give them free passes, free tickets to our gigs, which come with a free beer. And I told them to come over to our gig because we need we need more people to watch local music. So if they want to come and argue, that go ahead. Get dressed on a weekend and come on. I'll buy a beer just so that we can discuss it face to face. And more often than not, those people don't show up. And I remember getting a message from a friend, and he told me that people from a certain city were really, really pissed at me for what I was posting on social media. And he told me that they were friends. And I told him if they were really my friends, because I was calling out this bullshit, like
Hmm.
if they were really, they would actually reach out and talk to me. So these people claiming to be my friends who are mad are probably just, and they don't know me as well as they should because I've been this way for 20 years. So it's news to me that they would be mad about my atheism or my humor. Because this is the brand. This is something that I've built throughout the years. You know, it would just be strange that.
Yeah, I don't know. Um, I think about all the times I have been harassed by people, and it's been
Mm,
very few, very few. Um, and they're usually gone pretty quickly. So I haven't really had any
yeah,
serious issues
exactly.
like that.
They'll be mad.
I've never been threatened in mass before to have my head
Oh
taken
well.
off or something. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember what I kind of felt like when I was given death threats. I was just like, yeah, good luck with that. Pretty sure my
Mm-hmm.
mother is the only one who knows where I live right now. That was how it was then, and now it's like, I don't know. I don't even know where I live. That's how difficult it is to find me. That's
Mm-hmm. See, that's why
um yeah.
there is some sort of protection because there is a distance between you and your readers or viewers on social
Yeah.
media. But when it starts turning into these death threats, especially with religious people or organizations, is that they have the resources to ask around. Like I saw the post and his Facebook profile was shown, and if you had time to go through his profile, you would see common friends. See, now the problem with that is now the common friends are part of the problem. Now they'll be harassed. They'll be asked by friends, "Hey, do you know where this guy lives? Hey, you could innocently be asking information. Hey, I have a business transaction with your friend so and so,
Hmm.
but I can't seem to find his address. Can you provide it?" So friends, unknowns to them, can give information about your location or where
Yeah.
you are, and that's when it becomes dangerous. It
Yeah.
becomes a witch hunt.
Right. Exactly. And just don't ever give out too much information about yourself to people you don't know. That's all. And that's really the best way to keep yourself safe online is, um, when possible, if it's for something benign, um, use your previous address or an address where a relative lives instead of your own address. Um, like that's what I use on Facebook for my address. It's just one of the addresses I once had here in Eastwood, so it's not my real address. Um,
Mhm.
So if anybody even
But do you
thought that,
think
oh yeah, it's this is his address, like no, you're not gonna find me there. Like I'm miles away already.
Mhm.
So
I was joking a few episodes about being atheisting properly. Now,
atheist.
okay, I know
Yeah.
it's a jokey term. I'm not atheisting properly, but this is one of those cases where you put yourself and the people you live with or the ones close to you in danger in some way
Mm,
because he's just a little bit of that is that we already know the situation of atheists and we how just people will react. This brings up that old saying that Christians say that, oh, you're such a tough atheist. Why don't you try doing that to Muslims? You know, it's that call out. It's like, oh, you're so brave. Let's see you mock Muhammad. So that's happening now. It's that I guess he wasn't atheisting properly because he knew for a fact that this religious sect was very strong and very powerful. In fact, in Tagalog, they're very picon. So they get pissed off easily at jokes. They don't take jokes lightly.
yeah.
So I guess yeah, it's also a mistake on his part. I'm sure he knows that now because I checked his profile and his profile's gone.
Yeah.
So
I think
in a
he
way,
knows.
he
Yeah.
is hiding. Yeah, because it
Yeah.
can be scary.
I mean, I get your humor in the word atheisting properly. I'm just thinking, like, this
Is it
is
a
the kind of thing.
responsible way?
No, see, that's
Mhm.
the thing. It's like if you poke a tiger and you get eaten, you don't really blame the tiger for that, you know. Now, I'm not
Yes,
saying it's
exactly.
slightly different here because the tiger in this case should know better and on some level, um, like
Hmm.
because they're fellow humans. But that's where we have work to do. So I'm not saying that these people are innocent because they're just tigers. I'm just using that as an analogy. So um, it's just that that's the kind of thing you're poking a dangerous animal, a religion in this case, and expecting things to go well when that's just usually not how
Hmm.
those types of things go um, with extremist groups like that who are
Yeah, and it's
very willing to harm
in
people.
regards to the post,
Yeah.
it was not a statement. It was not like a statement like what Celdran did. What Carlos Celdran did was it's a bit of a political statement against the church. In regards to this Dinuguan incident, there was no there was no political stand. There was no ideal or ideaking it.
Right.
It was mocking. I have to admit, it was really mocking. Like you said, it's poking the tiger, or in other words, poking the bear.
Yeah.
You have to expect and know, being a rational and smart person, you know that there's going to be backlash. Now, I'm sure he prepared some witty reply to kind of tell people to like, relax. This is a joke and all that. But a lot of people who are indoctrinated will not see that. They will see offense and they will see it as an obligation to stand up for their religion, an obligation to rise up above ridicule and prove.
Right.
That's what's scary when they prove that they are the most powerful ones. It
Yeah.
becomes a
Yeah. Exactly. Um, man, I just don't know. Uh,
I'm actually curious if we have any viewers who are part of the INC, Iglesia. It would be great if we had a caller who
that
could
would be really
explain
great.
to
Yeah, because
us.
I'm trying to think of this from
Yeah.
their perspective, and I don't know. I've just never been one to get offended by stuff like that. I'm trying to understand what it
Hmm.
must feel like. What does it feel like to be that offended that you're willing to say you're going to hurt someone um, for
Well,
something
in
that?
my experience,
Oh no, I'm just sorry. It takes me so much to get that upset, and even then, I don't think I'd ever threaten to hurt someone over it, unless it was something really really egregious.
mhm,
So it's difficult for me to even put myself in that mindset. Like, what's going through their head?
yeah, And if you notice, the Filipino the culture, the mindset of some
Mind
people
culture.
here is that they can celebrities, they can ridicule everything. They can ridicule books, they can ridicule a tweet, they can ridicule a photo, they can ridicule everything and anything is funny. It's free game. It's fucking game for everyone. But once religion comes into play, then all of a sudden, oh my god, I have to be so righteous. Oh my god, I have to defend it. Oh my god, then that's why it becomes a really, really different ball game. But these are the same people, the people getting mad are the same people that post viral or trending jokes
Right.
about politicians or even their children, But when the tables are turned, when they're being made fun of, they can't take the joke. That's why you gotta weigh out your audience and where you're broadcasting your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Like I
it's
actually feel safe. I feel safe here in Patas because as much as I know is that we do have Theist followers and they do understand the structure of the program.
yeah.
This is a talk show, it's not a debate show. So we are talking about relative things that are happening right now. So if anyone listening is part of INC, I promise you, we will not mock you. I talk to someone from INC to be able to give a voice from the other side. Because we are talking from the non-believers, the skeptical side of it.
Oh, well, sorry. I'm certainly not going to make an effort to, what's the word? To hurt anyone's feelings, I guess. Like I'm not actively seeking to do
Mhm.
that. But like we
Yeah.
said in the chat and in our discussion in the admin group, it's just, you get what you give around here. So if you call in and you give us, bullshit, we're gonna return it. But I do want nice people to call in. So if you are a nice person interested in having a nice, honest conversation, giving us your thoughts, your side of things, we'll be completely fair to that and completely open to it. So don't think that we're gonna bite your head off, but I will if you bite back first.
Yeah, because I think some decent conversations with Thais, because if you're gonna be objective about something, then we can be objective. But what I want to touch on right now is the Bible verses that were mentioned. Um, do not eat the blood. Do not eat your blood or blood. Period. That's the
Mhm.
gist of it. But at the same time, when it comes to the Eucharist, we are drinking the blood of Christ. So when people say, "Oh, the Bible is not metaphor; it's fact,"
Right.
I start to question. Wait, is it? You say no blood, drink blood of Christ. So where do we cross that line? Maybe somebody like Abraham or someone can enlighten us.
Uh,
Because blood sacrifice and a
is
lot of
Abraham
blood is
INC?
very
I don't know.
important in the Bible.
Is he INC or whatever? What's it called? Um,
No, I don't think so. I think he's if I'm not mistaken. He sounds like a born again Christian.
okay. Um, I don't
But
really
yeah,
know exactly
how
what
bad is
INC is.
blood?
So
Because I know in in terms of basically bloodletting or blood sharing is bad, period,
right.
because we're aware of blood types and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
This and it's just very strange because when you ingest it, like blood, it's not human blood. Not all atheists eat type O so that it fits the AB in our digestive system. But yeah, I don't know the fascination over blood, which is argued as the life source of human. Without blood, you die. If your blood is contaminated, you die.
Yeah, I'm not a scientist, but pretty sure when you
What
drink blood,
blood? The importance of blood.
well, I'm pretty sure when you drink the blood,
Hmm.
any cells in there are getting destroyed by all the acid. So you're not actually like adding that blood to your
Yeah,
system in the form of blood. So it doesn't matter what if it's A
Mhm.
positive or A negative or whatever. You're not getting any benefits from that in that department. But are you asking what the purpose of blood
Mhm.
is?
Well, not the purpose, but the significance of blood in religious terms, because it is very significant.
Significance. It's too hard to. I mean,
Because you have
I
the
guess
blood
if
of
you.
Christ, you have.
Well, no, you go ahead. I think
Then
you
remember
probably have it under control here. I'm trying to think myself what you mean specifically because there's different ways I could
doors so
answer
that
that question.
God.
No, there's like
Mhm.
a sorry, there's like such a delay between us. It's making it very difficult to talk to you. Sorry. Um, when you said what significance does blood have, because there's so many different religions that I couldn't answer. And if you're talking about Christianity, then there's the sacrifice, which is all really I can think about. Besides the fact that God likes to smell of burning blood, and that's why we needed the one true sacrifice to act as an atonement for everything. So that's Jesus's blood, and I guess it represents that. But I mean, maybe you have another take on that. That's my understanding. It probably could vary from sect to sect, though. Even then,
Mhm. The sacrifice part, because in some passages they would sacrifice a lamb, and in fact, when God was going to curse the children's, the firstborns, they did put blood, the crosses, on the doors to let the angel know that these houses were safe. So blood plays a big role in the Abrahamic religion. And I'm trying to understand the INC part, because they focus on one or two Bible verses that just say that you can't eat or ingest blood.
oh, I think I understand what you're trying to get at. So you're saying that there's some kind of contradiction between the communion, drinking the blood of Christ, and then the fact that they can't drink blood. Is that what you're saying?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Um, I think the easiest way out of that is saying that the blood is metaphorical. That's why it's wine, even in the first communion. Um,
Hmm.
so I'm pretty sure that's the only way, and the only way out of the contradiction is that card. Um, probably.
Yeah, because wouldn't they change it to drinking the wine of Christ? It's kind of like communing with him, literal, like sharing the wine of Christ,
Right.
and not because that's what they tell children. This is the blood of our Lord, and they even say it that way, very stern. This is the body, this is the blood,
Yes.
and yet they ingest it.
Yes. That's the problem with language is that when they're saying something metaphorically in religion like that, they typically don't say, okay, the following statements are all metaphors. This is the blood. Like they just say it that way. They won't say like or
Yeah.
perhaps this represents the blood. They won't say that either. They will just tell you straight because that's what the
Hmm.
religious iconography is implying. It's implying that this is actually the blood. It's been transformed from wine into this sort of metaphysical ethereal blood that isn't really blood, which is why it still tastes like wine. I don't know. It's all very confusing. Um,
Hmm.
it makes almost no sense at all in that sense, but I could see
And
it
it's
as
not
a
very.
metaphor.
It's Yeah, and it's not very good wine, by the way. I work in the liquor
Usually,
industry. It's not. It's
I don't
not
work in
very
the
good
liquor
wine.
industry, but I can say that I've never had good wine at a communion before. So, uh, however, I think it's very interesting that you brought that
Mhm.
up because blood is not just specific to Christianity either. It's found in so many other religions. Now, I can't give specific examples off the top of my head, but I think we can all use our
Mhm.
imaginations in terms of sacrificing people off of volcanoes and shit like that. So uh, there's all kinds of ways that drinking someone's blood in ritual or uh, it's I what does it represent in every case? I don't know. Maybe there's different representations in other religions too. Like maybe blood represents a curse when you drink it, or
Mhm.
maybe it makes you extra fertile for that time of the month or what have you. I don't know. All I could say,
Yeah, it's a power.
all I could say it's a big topic.
It's a it's a powerful weapon that theists or religious people can use because it also embodies the whole for the term anti-gay movement,
Yeah,
and then also with needle sharing because you can't contract sorry you can't pass on HIV without a blood transfer. There was even a rumor in the Philippines before that I don't know if it's really stupid, is that there were gay people who had HIV and they were loading syringes with their blood and started poking people. I think it was SM Mega Mall or some big mall. And there was this whole rumor that, oh, they were spreading HIV with needles, with their blood. Did you ever hear that then?
did I ever hear that they were taking needles and like injecting themselves and then injecting it into other people? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, or poking, just poking other people in
I
public
I
places.
feel like I have heard of something like that before. That I can't remember a specific, but that rings a bell. Oh, I
So
thought.
yeah,
Are
there's
are you
there's
done? Oh,
that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm done. Sorry. Yeah, because our stream today is kind of choppy in a way.
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to hear you sometimes, but you're fine now. So the poking with the needles thing I'd heard of, I don't know, was it really even true, or was that just people trying to make up stories? I don't know.
I think it was fear mongering at its best because it was a time, I think it was the late 90s when it peaked,
That
and
sounds
they were
right.
just really trying to scare people about basically the gay community because it was quote unquote known that HIV was spread among them. So they wanted to, you know, take revenge on the religious people, which was really ridiculous.
Right.
It's a bad argument. It's a bad argument, but it's an argument that did circulate. In fact, it even reached family and relatives that, oh
That's
my God, be
that's
careful of going to
crazy.
malls. Because yeah, that's
You know
why.
what's
It's the
you know what's
whole
crazy about that,
Chris.
John? You
Mhm.
mentioned it and it sort of rung a bell. Then you started bringing up like malls and stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, now I remember like that really was the late '90s, and I don't remember it very distinctly, like specific ads or anything like that. But I just remember that general feeling that people were talking about it, and
Yeah.
I never really looked back and remembered that until recently. But that is interesting. Um, we do actually have a caller on the line who is a former INC, and
Oh,
he's currently
perfect.
a DS, and he'd like to talk to us and share his experiences as an INC. So I believe we have
Awesome.
Denver Max on the call. Denver, are you with us?
Hi, hello.
Hi, Denver. How are you doing?
Hi, Denver. Good
Hello.
evening.
Yeah, good evening, guys.
What do you got for us today?
Okay. Actually, I'll just share a couple of things about INC because this is something that I'm not really proud of. But before I went into secularism, I was an INC member, and therefore I
Hmm.
was indoctrinated at an early age. And eating blood, dinuguan itself, is something that is really forbidden in a sense that the ministro is always telling that some or majority of the INC members do not know the
Mm,
real reason why eating blood or dinuguan is forbidden. But it's how they are taught to. But I'll be frank, most people will be very angry, especially INC people, if you'll be eating blood in front of them. It's like
yeah.
parang pinapahiya mo sila. And
Yeah,
there's one
I
thing.
get that. Yeah,
And
parang you're em- if we eat dinuguan in front of them, you're intentionally trying to embarrass them or call out their religion.
Yes. And
Hmm.
I have about the post that you guys are talking about, the one with Gent.
Hmm.
I believe Gent is his
Yeah.
Oh,
name.
please
I saw that
break down
shared
his name.
by my family members, and they were also discussing
Hmm.
it inside of our house. And I'm what we call tiwalag,
Hmm.
but they were still
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
solid members, and they are really offended. And I have no say
Hmm.
about it. But what I can see with them is that they were emotionally attacked
Right.
by that post. But if
Yeah.
we will be looking at it on our point of view, it's funny. I can say it's funny,
Yeah.
and I hope my family hears this that it's funny. But yeah, I'm locked inside my room right now. But
Hmm.
I'm checking their um reactions to it, and it's like
Hmm.
they were offended from the very core of their beliefs, and it is something very deep rooted because since scientists are very young, they are already indoctrinated and supplied
Yeah.
that we should not eat dinuguan or blood, even the Betamax, what we call it, the tuhog-tuhog
Yeah.
one.
Coagulated blood. Yeah. The Betamax.
Right.
Oh, wait. We should explain to the millennials what Betamax is. Ben, have you ever eaten Betamax? It's like blood cubes, and you have it on barbecue with
No, I never
isaw
have.
and the
Never,
street corn.
never have eaten it
Oh,
before.
dude, you gotta try it.
You
I'm
should.
not a fan, but you have to at least
I was gonna
once.
ask you how
We
do
should
you
have.
eat old videotapes, but now I understand. So, uh, Betamax. Nobody. Okay. All right. I'll see myself
No,
out.
well, because
You guys
Betamax,
continue your
they're
conversation.
boxes.
Uh,
They're black boxes of coagulated blood. But Denver, okay, since you're former INC, what part of the Bible, because I can't remember, we don't use our phones, we don't Google or anything. What part says na
he
hindi
doesn't.
ka pwede kumain ng dugo?
Leviticus 17.
Hmm.
Leviticus 17.
I believe, yeah, Leviticus 17. There is parts of that. Wait, I'll just Google that one.
Yeah.
As far as
Okay.
I recall, it's Google
Mhm.
17. Where?
So here,
Mhm.
here's another thing, Ben, that you don't know about INC is that they don't believe in the Old Testament. Am I right, Denver? Walang Old Testament, New Testament lang, di ba?
Jesus is in the New
Yeah. Okay.
Testament. Yeah, that's one
So
thing.
yeah. They don't they INC disregards the Old Testament. They don't exactly follow that. If I'm not mistaken. Which way is it? Yung INC Denver, 'di ba? Sa New Testament naniniwala, hindi sa Old, 'di ba?
Yes.
Okay, there. So yeah, Ben. Imagine a religion that completely disregards the Old Testament. They're
Um,
only following the New Testament.
okay, then you don't have the original sin, which is why you need Jesus. Um, you don't
Hmm.
have the um, Noah's flood, which is wiping out all of mankind. You don't have the Ten Commandments. You don't have any prophecy, which also makes Jesus happen. Um, I don't know how you could do a New Testament without an Old Testament. They're kind of codependent.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Well, but that's the case in this particular religion, and
Hmm.
they hate hearing that.
well, they are
Yeah.
in some very strange religious I've ever seen. But we so we have Leviticus 17:14, because the life of every creature is its blood. That is why I have said
Blood.
to the Israelites, you must not eat the blood of any creature, because the life of every creature is its blood, and anyone who eats it must be cut off.
There you go.
So it looks like the person whom we are talking about might be joining us on the Discord call here very soon. So look forward to that. Hopefully he's able to get itself set up. I've been very careful not to use his name, so if we could, keep that trend going, However, if he wants to come on the show and use his name, he's welcome to do that. So, um,
Okay,
anyhow,
Denver. Before we move on, Denver, I have a question though.
Mm-hmm.
Your what was that term that they use? Hindi tinakwil.
Tiwalag.
What was that? Tiwalag. Oh, yan. You're a tiwalag. Oh, what led you to make that decision to be who you are now and get away from the person you were before?
One thing that I found about um because I'm that kind of rebellious person that I don't want constraints and being
Mm-hmm.
oppressed in a way. And what I
Mm-hmm.
can see with how they run things inside of the INC is that wait, I'll just listen tone down on INC because someone might hear me.
Oh,
Okay.
it's okay. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, or let's just say they have this very controlling attitude that they shove of beliefs from their core philosophy to the believers or
Mm-hmm.
to the churchgoers. And that is something that what I hate with them is that even votes, they will give you a
Yes.
list. They will give you a list on whom to vote. They will say that I forget the term, but it's something like akay. They like to
Mm-hmm.
akay politicians. And
Yeah.
I mean, a belief system, as a belief system and as a church, I find it weird that they're forcing me who to vote. That's one thing. And
Mm-hmm.
it's, to be frank, I left the church at not a very young age, and I'm already quite old, and that's something that that's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I was yeah, I agree it's funny, but I'm already 26 when I left the church, and I'm thinking, what was I doing all those 26 years in my life, believing everything that they are shoving into me, and it led me to question that why do we have this monetary system that we need to donate them from time to time, and also why do they force us to do what the things that they believe is true, wherein in fact if you are an educated person
hmm
you will see that there are a wide option or array that you can choose to when making decisions, but they are forcing you to do decisions based on what they want, and that is why
Yeah.
with eating blood, going back to the topic, they force the
Mm-hmm.
belief based on Leviticus 17 that we should not eat blood. And
Mm.
became a very emotional core for the members that just eating dinuguan in front of them is very painful to them. Like, you are
It's
disrespecting them.
blasphemy. It's
that's
blasphemy.
so stupid.
And also, the the person that we are talking to that was eating dinuguan with puto in front of the church itself,
Mm-hmm.
it is noted that Iglesia ni Cristo, which is the house of Christ. He's eating blood in front of the house of
Yeah.
Christ. And therefore, that is a very deep blasphemy that he has done.
Yes. Yeah.
Do these
I
people
And
agree.
eat
I
meat?
completely agree.
Do
mhm.
these people generally eat meat, or are they generally vegetarians?
No, we them we eat meat, but
You eat meat?
blood no.
Yeah. Do they
Yeah,
know that
they eat.
meat contains blood?
Yeah, no, I
Yeah. Like
believe they know.
yeah.
Like when you
Like
drain it?
a really good
Yeah.
medium rare steak.
Yeah. Like when you cut
You
that
know,
steak open, what do you
a
think that
well
is spilling out of it? It's not. It's not happy juice. It's blood. Um. I don't know what they think is going on in there. You can't. Um. I don't know why I'm hearing a guitar or something. You can't.
that's Denver. I'm gonna make a guess right
Oh.
now.
Okay.
An educated guess. He's a bassist. Denver, are you a bassist?
Yes.
All right. You have to teach me that trick later. Um. So
It's
the
magic.
what was I saying? Oh, the whole thing is like you can't drain an animal's blood out significantly enough to where there's literally no blood left. It just doesn't work that way. There's always going to be some blood left.
Hmm.
Chicken, even I don't know, fish. Do fish have blood? They don't have a circulatory system, do they? I don't know.
Yes, fish does have blood.
Fish has
Even if
blood.
you because I've done this.
Um,
If you dry meat, if you have beef jerky,
yeah.
it does have blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what keeps it together,
Yes.
coagulates.
Exactly. And
But I'm interested in what Denver said earlier. Um, this is away from the topic a bit, but just so that you're aware, Ben, do you know that all INC members give 10% of their income?
no, I did
They
not know
have
that.
tithes.
But count
That's
me out.
included. He mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, you can count me out of that one.
So Denver, you're a low key INC. Do you still pay the 10%
No,
of your salary?
no,
No
not
more.
anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you have more money for band equipment,
Yes.
effects,
Eh,
effects and strings.
nope, no effects on my side, just plain bass. It's the soul. By the way, one more thing about INC is that they have a very close hive mentality, and also they act as a pack. And
Yeah.
the person that ate Duguan in front of the church should already be aware at first the action that he'll be doing before he done that, because
Oo,
that
alam niya eh. Alam niya,
mm,
dude. Alam niya.
and
That's why we're not
mm,
siding with him, okay? Not all of us side with him because we know there are black and white areas and then there are gray areas and there are areas where you parang cross the line. And that post kind of did cross the line. I think we're all in agreement with that.
mm. But if we'll be looking at
Maybe
it
yes.
at
Yeah.
a law or rules perspective, the government law itself, I
Mhm.
cannot find anywhere wherein he can be a case critical, I
Prosecuted.
guess. Yeah, something like
Yeah.
that. But uh, the church itself has a very close ties with the government itself.
Hmm.
That is why they
Yeah,
make
they're a
a
very powerful church.
yeah,
Are there
and
blasphemy laws in
therefore,
this country?
mhm.
There are technically, but only if it's crossed does it really come out. But then people will bring up separation of church and state. That's why what happened to Carlos Celdran was he was charged with hurting um, emotions and
Yeah.
feelings. He wasn't charged directly with something against the law, but it was more of a charge against hurting religious feelings. That's where Celdran got caught up, and that's why people were on his side because oh my god, anyone's feelings can get hurt. And when you start charging people with hurting your feelings, like I can argue that K-pop music hurts my feelings when we should be encouraging local artists. Something like that. You know, it's a very very gray area that you will win if you have powerful people behind you. That's the politics of the Philippines.
Yeah. Seems like
It's
it.
not objective. Yeah.
Well,
Deep breath, Ben. Deep breath.
I don't know. I have a hard time with this kind of crap, and I get offended when someone tells me that it's possible to potentially sue someone for blaspheming and offending you. Like that I find that offensive and stupid. So um, the irony of that is that they're guilty by pressing charges against someone for that of the same thing that I would be pressing charges against them for, which is the act in the first place. I find offensive. So
Mm,
the ability for someone to do that, because it just freedom of speech is huge. Separation of church and state is huge. That's what we are here for. That's what we represent. And when I hear about violations of that, I get upset and I get exhausted because I know that they're very long and difficult processes to push the religions out as far as we can, and it can take a lot of effort and time to do that.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
this
know.
time, I think I'd like to thank Denver. Denver, thank you
Yes,
so
please.
much for sharing your insights, and it was actually very, informative for us. And I think
Thank you very
since
much.
Ben is hearing all of this for the first time, I think we can dedicate an episode to understanding INC because they're very different from the religions that we are part of.
Yeah, I'm
It's
gonna
a
have to look
different
into it a
sect.
bit more
So
to really be able to comment on it
see
further.
that would be a good.
But
And
maybe
Denver,
next week.
if you have any friends who are like you, who are open into discussing this, we can even change your names and hide it if you'd like, so we can discuss this further.
Oh yeah,
Make it more
when you call in, you
information
don't have to give
based.
us your real name. So
Hmm.
continue.
And don't worry, we're not gonna attack you. We want to understand you.
Okay, I'll be asking some of my friends. And thank you very much as well.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Bye bye,
Awesome.
Denver.
Thank you,
thank you.
Denver. Have a good night, brother.
You too.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right. Well, that was fun. Um, I I don't know. I have so many opinions on this that it's hard for me to think like
I'm
where do I
sure that's why
start.
I want to dedicate an episode just for that because we didn't even touch the tip of the iceberg, Ben.
Yeah, I
Even
believe
when
you.
the church was founded, it brings up a lot of questions. That's why I don't blame the PATAS guy for doing what he did. It's starting conversation. There you go. If his goal was to start the conversation, then mission accomplished.
Right.
But he did not do it in a way that was, I guess, kosher, or there could have been a better way of bringing it up. But now that he did what he did, now we're talking about it in a very peaceful manner and trying to understand where everything is coming from.
I can kind of respect that point of view. I don't agree with it, but I can understand and respect it for sure.
Hmm.
Um, I am of the mindset that if you if you push the tiger, you expect to get bitten, which is just what happens. I'm not saying that these people are right. I'm not saying that he was necessarily wrong. I'm just saying that if this was something he did on purpose, and maybe we'll get a chance to hear from him soon, um, then
Hmm.
he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was getting himself into, and he only has himself to
Yeah,
blame,
he
I
would be
guess,
a
in that
good
sense.
guest. He would be a great guest on this program,
Yeah, excuse me. I'm just
just so that we could hear his
shaking
two
around.
cents. But
Yeah, I would like to hear what he has to say because I'm not necessarily opposed to dramatic sort of I guess political statements. I guess kind of a political statement. Um, I'm not even opposed to protests or anything like that. Obviously, I'm in favor of that, but right time, right place, better execution.
mhm.
Um, I don't know. Like if I posted a meme like that, I wouldn't have used my face or my name. I would have posted it on some anonymous group somewhere. Um,
Mhm. Yeah,
I would have kept it between
to be able to
specific friends. Yeah,
discuss it and dissect it further, and pretty much figure out how do I make this public. You can post it in the Patas group, and then like take out, trim the fat, and figure out how do I post this on in public and not offend anyone.
well, you're
Something objective.
never going to be able to not offend anyone. Somebody's always going to be offended. So, but
That's
offend the
true.
least number of people, I guess. Offend the least number of people to the point where it doesn't really matter that you're offending someone. Um,
Mhm.
because like you were saying, offense is taken, not given, which I completely agree with. Uh, but anyway, I don't know. I'd like to hear from this guy if he's able to come on, sir, whose name I shall not say. If you are watching the show, we're still waiting for you. I think you said you were going to be installing the Discord, And if you are watching the show and you are interested in calling the show, or you're wanting to talk to us as well, you can go to that link on the screen over here. Did I get it right that time? I totally did get it right, but it's not on the screen. What happened?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Uh, so there it is now. And you can bit.ly/patas call. You can also, if you don't want to call into the show, you can email us at live@patasinc.org. So those are the
Or
two
you
ways
can
to get a
also
hold of
send your
us.
comments in the live video feed,
Yes, comment on the live
and
video feed.
let's see what happens there.
We got one comment actually from Julio Casim, who says the worst thing the man invented was God, and Bible main purpose is to control human and to earn a very huge profit. I might have to start screening my comments before I just read them, because there was a little bit of some
No,
grammar leaps in my head with that one. But
that's something we can kind of agree on when it comes. That's why we have this program. That's why the page exists, is because those things always come up, and I don't know. It's I guess it's a general query on how things are,
yeah,
and that's why we're addressing it here in a peaceful manner, in a friendly manner, trying to understand each other. This isn't a debate show. This is a talk show.
right.
So that's why some people have a hard time talking about these questions or sometimes problems in their lives. So that's the service that we're doing in this particular show. You know, we're not out to attack anyone. We're not out to disgrace anyone. It's
No,
more of
we don't
letting
go
people
door to
know you're
door.
not alone. Yeah.
We don't go knocking on doors and hand
Sir,
out
would you
flyers.
like to give me money?
God,
Or
you
pay
do
me.
that
I'll pray for you.
way too well.
That's my Jehovah's Witness voice.
You do that. You do that way too well. All right. Um. So yeah, I think we might have another caller coming on the line here in a minute. Hopefully, it's our friend here. But if not, we'll welcome you anyway. Hopefully, you bring something interesting to the table today, because we are running short on stories for ourselves to talk about. But I guess another thing we can take back. We've been here for about a full hour now, so I would like to ask John a question.
Hmm.
How have you been over the last week? What's going on with you?
Well, what with me?
Yeah, what's going on
Good.
with John?
I
We're having a little
have been
sidebar.
living the way the Lord has the way the Lord wants me to live. I'm growing plants. I have my own tomatoes. I have my own chili. I have my own shit growing in my backyard.
Okay.
I've actually started a home business to kind of make up the little dividends that I need. Um, I'm still working, which is a little hard because my work involves meeting clients face to face. So it's a lot of adjustment, but it's a lot of fun adjustment. Now, if I could give any advice to people at this time struggling, I would suggest you buy microphone gear, a nice headset, and dedicate a piece of your home so that you can conduct things like this. We're doing it for the podcast, but believe it or not, I do this for meetings. I do this for work. This is
Hmm.
something we have to adjust in. Um, I've recently been watching American Gods again, and there is the new gods versus the old gods, and the new gods are technology, media, and the internet. So if you're religious, you should start considering the new gods, which will get you your finances sort of in check. And if you really need help, there's so many online courses that you can take. A lot of people don't like Excel, they don't like accounting. You can take up courses. And
John,
being a pirate,
I don't want to interrupt,
oh, am I?
but I have some news.
Oh,
We have Gent here.
yes.
Would you like to get Gent on?
Fuck
All right.
yeah, let's do it.
All right,
I
let's
want
do
to
it.
hear it, man.
I think we have Gent on the line. Gent, are you with us today? Are you with us right now? I think he might be muted.
Yeah, here, I'm here.
Hi, welcome.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
We were just talking about you.
Yeah, I'm watching it. I was watching it.
Mm-hmm. So, bro, how are you now? How are you now? Like,
Yeah,
guys, and
So far so good.
that's really the important
mhm.
question here, because the question is mostly, are you safe? I think, and that's really my first question as well. Did we lose him? I think we might have lost him. Oh gosh.
Oh, we lost him.
Yep, we
Uh,
sure did.
that's also the thing about technology is that depends what your connection is and your upload speed is. So,
Sometimes not
if
great.
you
Yeah.
guys, yeah, if you guys have time, I think it's a good investment to upgrade your internet service. Go with fiber. This is not an ad. Just go with fiber. Don't use DSL or data, and you'll be able to accomplish more online. You can be an online seller. You can be an online podcaster or presenter. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to pass the information as quick as possible. So we are here now. This
Yeah,
is our
the
set.
whole jobs online thing. It can be very difficult to find reliable work online, but there are some
Mhm.
opportunities out there, English teaching and things like that that I've tried in the past, and uh, definitely podcasting is fun, but it's hard to make money on it unless you have an idea ready, fleshed out, and that kind of thing. And it's kind of the long play. But I think we might have Gent back. Hey, you with us? I'm not.
Yeah, I'm here.
There
I'm
you go.
here. I'm back.
Okay. Hey, welcome back. We lost you there for a minute, but we're happy to have you back.
So the question was, are you safe?
Yeah. Oh gosh, did we lose him again?
Yeah, so far.
Oh, nope. Not sure. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna get to hear from the G. I'm calling him G.
Sound check. Sound.
Oh,
Hey,
there,
we
you're
got you.
good. You're good.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us if you're safe.
Yeah, yeah. I'm good. I'm good. I'm
Okay.
safe.
All right. So I guess the question on my mind was, and it's largely irrelevant to what happened to you as far as the attacks, because the the virtual attacks or what have you are completely unnecessary and uncalled for, whether this is true or not. But was this an intentional thing, or was it just a coincidence that you had done this? That's more of my curiosity than
It was
anything.
intentional.
Huh?
It was intentional.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I just don't feel bad for you. That's that's my opinion. I'm sorry. I just can't.
The reason behind I did post that stuff is I was able to read on the Bible,
Mhm.
specifically the one that they're pertaining to, the one at Leviticus.
Mhm.
It is there that you cannot eat blood. It is
Mhm.
said that you cannot eat blood, and incorporated on that verse is that you cannot eat fat as well.
Really?
Yes, it is incorporated. I'm gonna pull it up. 1 minute. 1 second.
I think I could see that
So
being
what
part
he
of the
did
intention.
was calling out the hypocrisy of that particular religious sect by pointing out it's not just blood, it's
It's
also
not
fat.
fat. Yeah. It's said in here, and it's in Leviticus 17, verse 14, for the life of every creature of its blood, it is pure. Therefore, I said to the people of Israel, you shall not eat blood of any creature, for the life of a creature is blood, wherever it shall be cut off. That's the first one. Let me pull up the second one. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, we read that one on the air already.
Yeah, one
Oh,
second. I'm trying to pull it up.
I didn't know there was another one.
Yeah, I was unaware too. I always thought it was just blood because that's going to be an ace in this ace of spades because even tuna has fat, even salmon has fat, seafood has fat,
It's
even beef.
pretty much intrinsic to
Yeah.
food.
It's Leviticus 3 verse 17.
Verse
This
what?
is
Sorry.
Leviticus 3 verse 17. This is
I,
on New International Version. This is a lasting ordinance for the generations to come. Whoever you live, you must not eat any fat or any blood.
I want to see this one again.
Mm.
I didn't
So
hear the
it's
chapter.
in the same it's on the same chapter, Leviticus. It's on 3 verse
Ah,
17. So when they say they cannot eat blood, so why the hell they're eating chicharon or any crispy pata or any stuff with fat? That's my point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah, and then Leviticus 19:26. You shall not eat any flesh with blood in it, which is pretty much all flesh. So, um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel it does feel like they're kind of picking and choosing how they define it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're just cherry picking what they want to do.
Yeah.
There was
Definitely.
this
I
one.
agree. I agree.
There was this one Iglesia ni Cristo, an ex Iglesia ni Cristo, ex comunicado. I did chatted with him regarding this one, and he said that maybe Manalo, the the father of Iglesia ni Cristo, just don't want to eat blood. That's why they implied that stuff.
Yeah, he just didn't like it to begin with, and he wrote it in.
Just to begin with.
I, I have a question though. Are you a former INC?
No, 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 not a former INC, but a former Christian who also believes that eating blood is shit.
Hmm.
So I'm curious. Are you surprised at the response that you've been given to this?
I was not expecting to be that much, but I was expecting that they're gonna be aggravated about it, but not this much. That they're gonna touch my kids, my wife, and my family, other family members. That's why I'm what do you call this one? That's what I'm depressed about right now.
Yeah, nakakalungkot. Don't worry. By the way, bro, nagtatagalog kami. I can translate for Ben, so don't worry.
Or I could just not talk. That's usually probably better for everybody. So
So okay, what was the ultimate goal though of posting that? Because was it on your personal page or was it in a group? I'm a little confused.
First before I did that, I of course I think of the boundaries on it. But
Mm-hmm.
kahit ano kasi gawin nila, that's my personal space, which is my car.
Mm-hmm.
They cannot sue me on it. So I think of it dun sa yung side na can they do something about, or is there a law that I'm gonna be abiding? So wala naman. I did it on my car.
Wala.
That's my personal space. So
Mm-hmm.
hindi sila dapat ika-aggravate regarding the issue.
Yeah. Are you worried that they're gonna play that whole hurting emotional feelings card? It's a very hard case to win. Hurting emotional feelings because it's subjective.
That one I did not.
Yeah, because that's what happened to Seldran. Doon siya nayari eh. Sa emotional damages or harm.
Honestly, I did not.
I'm not
Okay.
a lawyer, so I'm not even gonna comment on that. But
Don't worry. I have an atheist lawyer. He even wrote a song, "I Believe in Science," because he broke in the lyrics. It says he broke up with his girlfriend because she loves Jesus more than him, and he's a I shit you not. He's a lawyer. He's a really really good lawyer, and I won't disclose any more details. But
he probably has you
okay,
under
and back
NDA
to
if he's
the
a good enough lawyer. So
back to the situation is that what they're claiming now, I guess, is emotional distress, that you did offend the religion as a whole, but that has to be proven, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a
Uh,
good thing that you took the initiative to change your Facebook and your profile and stuff like that to basically get their troll army off your back. But you knew this was happening. What was going to be your reply to people who got offended?
Um, paano ba?
Na 'di ba, pinaghandaan mo eh. Pinaghandaan mo yung
Yeah.
post. Tapos ano yung parang kung may mag-reply, may ano yung reply mo sa kanila?
Actually, yun nga, that's the main reason eh. That specific verse I was pertaining to. Kasi what I did when I posted that video, I incorporated it with that verse. So,
Okay.
it's, parang you're hurt because I'm eating blood in front of your capilla or your church, but you guys are eating fat. You're eating chicharon. You're eating crispy pata. You're
Mhm.
eating stuff na incorporated on that specific verse na dapat is hindi tayo kumakain ng dugo. And also
Yeah.
one more thing, if hindi tayo kakain ng dugo, all meat products have a stain of blood on it, even if you cook on it. Like what you said a while ago,
Yes.
medium rare, the rare, those kind of
Yeah.
steaks. Yeah,
Even
if you're
ground beef.
yeah
Ground beef
even
has that. When you defrost it, it will have blood. There's always going to be blood.
yeah,
yeah.
maybe
So
I'm being maybe I'm being overly silly here or overly dad like, even though I'm not a dad. But I mean,
Yeah.
this is what these people believe and choose to act on. They're not hurting you by not doing it. So why call them out on the hypocrisy when it's really not harming anyone to for them to just not eat blood? Um, I mean,
reason behind that is
okay, go ahead.
because the verse they're using, incorporating on their belief, also says
No,
that
no,
you
no.
should not eat fat.
I don't care about that. That's my point. I'm saying I don't. What difference does it make if they're being hypocrites if what they're being hypocrites about isn't hurting anybody? In my opinion, the only relevance that that has is if
Mm.
you're trying to perhaps have a conversation where you're maybe trying to expose that they're a hypocrite and in doing so perhaps get them to think about their beliefs a bit more. But and what you did, I don't think you're achieving that at all. You're just making them irate and angry over something that isn't hurting anybody really, um, other than the fact that it's a religious tenet that they're believing in. But besides that specific fact, the act itself of not eating blood isn't really causing harm to anyone. So why the big show? Why the big song and dance?
I think that's the only way they're gonna um make pansin on it.
You
Kasi hindi naman nila mapapansin when I just post the verse of it.
Yeah. Okay, I get that. It's a shock value. There is shock value to it, and that's why we're discussing it. That's why people are reacting. I get that, but I think there's a way that we could attack that particular issue objectively.
or address?
Yeah, address it objectively. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we necessarily
Oops.
have to go down these routes. And of course, he's not here anymore. But of course, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've never offended people. I have, sometimes
Oh
for
yeah.
fun. But I don't know. I don't really feel like there's, and it's no offense against G here, but I don't really see a mission here. I don't really see um, I don't really see a goal being pursued that's actually going to solve anything particularly damaging to society or to them or to really anyone else. I think it's just sort of grasping at something to sort of make fun of or launch an objection to when there are bigger issues like whether or not their god is even fucking real in the first place that we could address without going down these really silly rabbit holes of contradictions in their verses or what have you. Um,
Mhm.
I'm not in favor. I think it's silly, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, I think
It takes
it's
balls.
bad.
It takes balls to do what he did. but there's also a way of having balls and doing it in a
Sure.
very planned. Like he did it intentionally. Okay,
Right.
but at the same time, there's the adverse effects, which now he is going through. I feel bad that his kids, his family is involved, which shouldn't have been the case to begin with.
Right.
And what I think we should focus on now is how do we rebound?
Yeah.
How do we
I
or
just
the
to
fix
clarify
this?
before we go down there, because I'm with you, but I just want to clarify that I'm not sitting here saying like that he deserves what's coming to him. Like no, these people are wrong and they shouldn't be fucking doing this
We
shit.
don't think that.
They're not good people because they're suing because they're hurt or their feelings are hurt. They're not. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't feel bad for them. And these people that are calling and making death threats, fuck you. No one gives a shit. We know you're not serious. You're a keyboard warrior on your phone. Shut up and go
Yeah.
back to your freaking mother's milk. So, um, I don't know. My whole thing is I think the whole thing is just pointless, and there are better things to do. But it's not my world. It's not my life. So you get to decide how you act in it, I guess. Um,
It's a
anyway,
little sensationalized, and we're not helping actually. We're not
probably
helping by sensationalizing it, but at the same time, it opens these doors. We wouldn't have been able to talk to the first caller, and we wouldn't have been able to talk to G to find out. Because that's the thing, we have to open those avenues. We have to be the atheist NMBAs to like open the street, let people be able to their side.
yeah, exactly.
And
We
there's no judgment here. There's judgment not on the person, but on the decision or the action made. But at the end of the day, this is something we have to talk about. And if people have a comment or an issue or whatever on the topic, you can refer them to this podcast because they can actually hear from the guy who posted it.
yes, although we're
I
not
don't think
using his
it's
full
just
name.
posted it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why it's addressing the issue.
yeah,
I'm sure there are going to be a lot of YouTube bloggers, a lot of Christian bloggers who are going to be crucifying him for what he did,
probably.
especially in INC YouTube channels. They're going to be crucifying him for what he did, and he's not going to be able to have his say. So that's why we're here. There has to be equal side.
Yeah, I'm on the fence about it. I don't know if you can tell. I'm somewhere right down the middle where I think both sides are, one is far more stupid than the other in this case. And I'm not saying he's a stupid person or anything. I'm not attacking his entire character when I say that. I'm just saying that on this situation, in this particular instance, I think it was a stupid thing to do. And that uh, may be funny to you, and maybe it is
Mhm.
funny to me too if I had seen it and I didn't actually get to look at it. Um, but knowing what you're doing and doing it, if it was a coincidence, I'd be able to write it off and be like, man, what a coincidence. That's so funny. Taking a picture of that makes sense and posting it makes sense and doing it the way you did makes sense. It was funny. It was happenstance. You know, I'm not saying that makes their response any better or worse. Just, the intent matters.
Yeah,
And if, if your intent is to insult and badger and being a nuisance to people, then that's the result. That's what you see. So,
what I understood from what he said then is that he wanted it to be an eye-opening experience that
yeah,
that one passage was not the whole passage. If you're really going to take it into
sure.
context, if you're really going to follow the passage, it's the entire passage. So I do get that. I do get that, but there is a way of delivering that message in a not so controversial way. But at the end of the day, I am fucking thankful. I'm thankful that it happened the way it did. Not disregarding what's happening to him and his family and all that, but because it opens discussions. It's not martyrdom. It's not, but someone always has to take that initial step to start the conversation.
Yeah,
It's
I just don't think it's a
it's
conversation worth having. That's my whole thing, though. That's my whole point. Um,
going over the verse.
This
because the Bible
conversation is
is
worth having
basically.
because something happened. But I mean, do you
Mm,
think how many of these Christians that believe this? Probably a lot, right? But how many of them that practice this religiously do you think aren't aware of potential other verses specific on this issue and might already have apologetic responses to it that maybe we just haven't looked at or haven't heard? Like,
I would agree with that.
when it
Yeah.
says flesh, flesh is actually translated better as blood, perhaps. Like, I'm not saying that's true, but maybe that's what it's saying. Um, maybe flesh is not literal flesh. Maybe it's the what makes up the flesh, which is the blood. I don't know. Maybe there's some other
Mhm.
apologetic where this verse matters and this one doesn't. There's just so many areas of nuance there where just, oh, this is a contradiction. I'm going to go make fun of them. To me, just doesn't read as a heroic moment. Um, Reads more of just a trolly atheist who had their moment to make a meme out in public. But I think he might be back, and I want to give him a chance to speak for himself here. So,
Yep. Yep.
G, if you're back, if you want to tell me what an idiot I'm being about my criticisms, you go right ahead.
It's a fair criticism because we're supposed to be balanced.
Fair and balanced. Oh dear, don't
Yeah.
become Fox News. That's their catchphrase. G, are you with
Hello?
us?
Yeah, I'm back. I'm back.
Welcome back, sir. I don't know how much of that you heard because I know you weren't here for most of it. So, anything else you got to say about this, or should we just move on to something else, or what else you got?
I think that's it for me.
Okay.
At least I was able to bring out the devils on them.
Hmm. G, I have a question. Are you willing to guest next week's podcast? Because I think we should talk about that specific religion. I don't know, Ben. You don't know much about INC, and I think we have to get Gent and then another person from the INC to explain it to everyone, so we have a clearer picture.
I would like to know more about this. What are their responses to these verses, for example, the ones that say something about flesh or what have you? Because maybe there are. This is what I was saying when you weren't here. Geez, that maybe there are responses that we're just not aware of, and so maybe it's not fair to jump to they're hypocrites because maybe they've already heard these rebuttals and they have rebuttals to those. So um, I don't ever like to assume, and I'm not saying that they do, and I'm not saying that it necessarily makes sense because a lot of the times they sound like post hoc rationalizations, which they usually are. But that doesn't mean that they're sitting there in a hypocritic state because now they've discovered this area where they can mesh their belief just right, which, I don't know. It's a
Mhm.
weird, religions have a weird defense mechanism, and that's definitely one of them. Uh, so thank you so much,
I think
G,
we.
for calling in, I guess. Um,
Yeah, sure. Anytime.
Hi,
s-
G. And how would you like to end? Because this is the only interview you've done, right?
yeah,
Since
Yeah, yeah.
the would you like to end in a statement that
yeah, something to the
explains
family,
everything that you
perhaps,
did?
or something
Yeah,
to
sure.
the public.
Sure, sure. Siguro, what I can say, dun sa mga natamaan emotionally, I apologize for that one. And I didn't mean na, I'm not part of Iglesia ni Cristo. So, I don't know na ganun kasakit sa kanila yung ginawa kong video na aabot sa mga ganitong threats. And at the same time, the reason nga behind na ginawa ko yan, it's because na I want to open up this conversation, not just for the atheist people, but especially for the Christian people who believe that eating blood is bad. I want to show
Mhm.
them if you're pertaining it's really bad to eat blood, you should not eat crispy pata too. That's it.
Oh my God! Sarap-sarap ng crispy pata.
Gee, did I Did I hear you apologize for hurting someone's feelings? Is that what I heard? I just want to know.
Yeah,
Is that what you said? Did he say that? Oh,
yeah, he did.
gee, I want you to
That's
know that I
yeah.
don't think you should ever have to apologize for this kind of thing in terms of maybe just being tactless in the way you executed it. But I wouldn't say that you should have to apologize for that either. And I definitely don't think you should be apologizing for hurting the feelings of people who are grossly ignorant on what actually is offensive in the real world, because what you did was pretty much the equivalent of uh, eating meat in front of a vegan, and if their feelings are hurt by that, too fucking bad. So thanks for calling in, though.
You are welcome. Thanks
All
to,
right,
thanks to.
bye bye.
Thanks, G. We'll see you next week, man. Salamat, para.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, I like that whole eating vegan or meat in front of vegans thing because
Yeah,
I live with vegans back
and
in
it
the
might hurt
day.
their feelings, and I might even not do it because I wouldn't want to be disrespectful. But if I did it in such a way that I was being disrespectful, I'm not necessarily upset if their feelings get hurt, because that's their problem. It's just like the whole them taking offense type thing. They're the
Mm-hmm.
ones allowing their feelings to get hurt. If you don't want to eat meat, don't eat
Yeah.
meat. If you don't want to eat blood, don't eat blood. Don't get fucking sad and oh, my feelings got hurt whenever it happens to you, because that's whenever it happens to somebody else or somebody else is doing it, because it's not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
It's hurting no one.
It's like it's like the ending of Game of Thrones. People were so fucking invested on Game of Thrones, and they were like, "Oh my god, that ending was so bad. It hurts my emotions." And I'm on the other side, like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking good. Yes, this is how it should end. Finish it, so we don't have to fucking wait another season."
Yeah.
There's some people who will really take offense.
I thought it
Um,
was really terrible, and I just didn't care. That was really my whole thing. I was like, man, boy, I wish I cared more about this show, because then this would really bother me.
right? That's why if you really invested
Yeah.
time and effort on it, then like you have a whole room or memorabilia wall of Game of Thrones, like, oh yeah, and then you get upset, it's like, aw, reality, aw.
Yeah. Like the poster's actually
That's
this
why
big.
people
Yeah.
people don't like it. It's like when a sports team loses, or
Yeah.
when Star Wars sucks, when it ends shitty.
Now that's a
You
harder
know,
one.
people will get
That's
upset.
because there are actually religions around Star Wars. There are actual
Yes, there
Jedi out
is.
there, so you have to be careful. You gotta be careful. You don't want to offend the Jedi by by
But get cut in half.
yeah, I guess cutting limbs off of yourself in front of them. You don't want to do that with your lightsaber. I don't know what the hell we're talking about. All right, it is 30 minutes until 8, and we have had one nice caller today. Actually, I guess technically two. Um but one of them was more of a short just discussion about what INC is. And I would like to maybe have Dever
Mhm.
on again next week if he wants to give us a little more detail in a more formal setting, or somebody else we can
Yeah.
actually get on. So um, I'm not seeing any other callers coming. I'm not really seeing a whole lot of comments. So I think we're reaching another early ending show, because I'd really like to get on a week when we can actually have people at the beginning ready to call in, or a theist on hold when we start, so we can have someone to discuss the topics that we like to discuss here. So we're going to do some outreach for sure this week and the next couple of following weeks, trying to get some theists on the show to call in.
Mhm.
But if you didn't get on today, or you don't want to, again, you can also email us at live@patasinc.org. You can also go to the Patas Inc. website to read our blog, updated every week. You can also donate at patreon.com/patasinc. That goes to the supporting the show and keeping it going. So thank you so much for that. And John, is there anything else you want to talk about, or would you like to go ahead and end it early today?
Okay, I'm gonna be cooking some steak tonight. It's probably gonna have some blood. If you do cook, even pork chops, you know that residual like brownish fat and all that, that's coagulated blood. So if you enjoy pork chops, if you enjoy salmon,
I enjoy all those
pretty
things.
much any seafood is delicious blood. And if you're gonna eat a baby, try getting blood type O positive or negative, because your AB blood will accept the baby in your body, because that's how you atheist properly.
I
I
have
think
no
that's
idea
how I'm
what you're
gonna end it.
I think it's definitely
Yo,
diabetics. I have no idea what
motherfuckers,
he's talking
eat
about.
science!
Um, I'm pretty I'm pretty sure my co-host just lost his mind. So thank you all so much for joining us. And I will see you next week. We'll come back. John and I will be here to talk about probably INC related stuff. That seems to be the way we're going. So thanks so much. Bye bye.